Larry, thanks. This weekend is the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, the storm, of course, that changed lives, thousands of them, forever.
The images are unforgettable, and for many of us here at CBS 11, those who are in the middle of the madness, this weekend brings back emotional memories. Here's Jay Gormley.
It was quiet, it was calm, it was surreal. Sunday evening, August 28, 2005, and New Orleans just didn't seem like New Orleans. And then Monday morning, it hit. Reporter J.D. Miles was in the heart of the city when the eye blew through.
It's daybreak and downtown New Orleans is desolate and dangerous.
And then something unexpected happened. The storm that was supposed to cause so much damage seemed so harmless. It appeared the Gulf Coast had dodged a bullet.
Nah, it ain't nothing to be afraid of.
But how wrong we were. The levees that the Big Easy depended so much on gave way. That's when JD walked into the early stages of a catastrophe.
Just east of downtown, a neighborhood called the 9th Ward is mostly underwater.
JD soon became one of the many battered and bruised by the storm. He was forced to leave that day with a concussion and a broken foot.
After a swinging iron gate knocked photographer Billy Sexton and I into the air.
In the days following, it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse.
It is, for the most part, a city with no direction, no answers, complete confusion.
Reporter Steve Pickett was at the convention center where the bodies, both living and dead, were piling up.
I don't think anyone imagined the depth, the large numbers of people who were still in that city going to that convention center because of there was no place else to go. There was no place else, there was nothing else to do but to go there. And when you get there, it became an island of helplessness. It was awful.
The city, known for its charm and free spirit, soon looked like a war zone.
I was in Iraq just 2 months prior to all this, so I thought I'd seen the worst until we got to New Orleans.
By boat and by helicopter, thousands were rescued only to be dropped off to more misery. The convention center, the Superdome, the airport.
This is the scene here at Louis Armstrong International Airport, where this has become now a major hub for this relief effort.
Reporter Stephanie Lucero was at the airport where the sick, the elderly, and the injured waited for days.
This is wrong. This is so wrong. People are not getting out of here. There was no place for people to go to the restroom. So the stench became unbearable.
There were people that were spread out all over the floor. It was pretty miserable.
CBS 11 photographer Mike Lozano worked closely with Stephanie. After days of no relief in sight, the frustration level began to mount. Volunteers, medical personnel, and members of the media were given a code. Code Blue would be the sign of a potential riot.
That was basically our warning that things were getting out of hand and we needed to get out.
Out of all the CBS 11 journalists sent to cover Katrina, perhaps no one was more affected than chief photographer Billy Sexton. Billy grew up in nearby Mandeville, and he worked in New Orleans.
And when the helicopters were coming in and they were landing and people were just rolling off of and falling out of the bellies of these helicopters and running from it, and they would lift off as quickly as they landed, I mean, it didn't look like America.
Billy was there to do a job, and he did so with the best of them. But just imagine coming home to cover your worst nightmare.
Because my family had to deal with rebuilding and everything. And, you know, there were days there when I couldn't find my brother, and, you know, there was a lot to it that I haven't got through yet.
As for me, I remember the flooding. If you think this is bad, flash back to last night where the water was right about here to my chest. I remember the devastation.
Listen to this. That's a natural gas leak spewing gas into the air, one of the many dangers that residents face.
And I'll never forget the thousands of evacuees waiting in the heat and the garbage and the smell under a bridge just west of the city.
It's terrible. I wouldn't keep an animal up here like this here.
Some people have been here 3 or 4 days, no showers, low on food, no water. They're tired, and they want to get out of this city.
But most important, I'll always remember a little girl alone, frightened, and separated from her parents, who had already been evacuated to Texas.
If I could get to Texas, I just want to let them know I'm alive.
The focus may have been on New Orleans, but let us not forget Slidell, Mandeville, the North Shore, and Waveland, Mississippi. We were just some of the journalists sent to cover Katrina's wrath, and we tried to do it without bias. But doing our job never stopped us from being human.
There was a point in time after we were there for about 2 days when I just had to let loose and I cried.
When Americans need help, let's not wait. Let's prepare. Let's react.
I really don't like to talk about it. You know, it's tough.